Start with this tweet, because it was a tweet that really ignited the firestorm. You just said this as this Markle debacle went down in the UK. You tweeted this. Piers Morgan, I'm with you. I stand by you. People forget that you're paid for your opinion and that you're just speaking your truth. What's incredible about that is you don't actually agree with my opinion. I mean, you might well have done, but you didn't say, I agree with what he's saying. You just said he's entitled to an opinion. And for that, you end up losing your job.
Yeah, because my whole point is that you are a journalist and a celebrity. So therefore, you're paid to give your opinion. The same as I was paid to give my opinion. That's why we're there. And freedom of speech.
Fact. When it was all going down on the talk at CBS, did you imagine in your wildest nightmare that within days you would have been fired from a show you've been on for 10 years?
Good question.
I was actually in my 11th year, and the situation, I never thought in my wildest dreams that my career after 50 years would have ended that way. I mean, what did I want my legacy to be? I was fired because I was accused of being a racist.
What was so disingenuous was their initial attack from Cheryl Underwood, your co-presenter, who I know, I've been on the talk many times with you and with Cheryl, always very friendly.
Okay.
But that day, the mood changed, and it looked like she was deliberately coming for you for, in her eyes, endorsing a racist, me. And when you said, well, what's he said that's racist, she couldn't tell you.
Why? Why?
And eventually she explained, my refusal to believe Meghan Markle basically made me a racist.
Oh, yes, that was the whole setup, that you were a racist because you had an opinion on somebody that was of mixed race.
Come on now, dawg.
I've never known you have a racist bone in your body. I would like to think you've never felt that in me.
Never.
We are not racist people.
No.
We never judge people because of their skin colour. I've certainly never written anything about Meghan Markle because of her mixed race
Skin
background.
colour, religion, you and I could give, you know...
What do you mean by that?
That's not the way we run our lives.
When you got fired, you get turfed out by the cancel culture mob. Twitter is ablaze. They're joyful, they're gleeful, they've got rid of you, they've got you out of that job, they've had you fired for having an opinion.
Yes, exactly.
What was going through your mind when the first few days after that?
It was, listen, I don't scare easily, you know that, but some of the comments that were coming through on my social media were so horrific about cutting my throat, my husband's, even the dogs.
What?
They wanted to kill my dogs. And then they started on Ozzy, on his site, and then my kids. And I just thought, this is just insanity.
See, I had the same thing.
Are you sure about that?
I went back to CBS and I said, not only can I not earn a living, but now I have to have 24-hour security because of you. And they go like, so what?
What? What the?
So your lives were being put under threat by these menacing people on social media, and you don't know who's real and who's not. Also, your career just basically ended. I mean, no one would touch you. You were toxic. You were driven out in a race storm. Therefore, you were untouchable.
What is he doing?
It was, I mean, literally untouchable. It was from, you know, everyday stuff comes in, you do this, that, and, you know, charity stuff and everything. The phone never rang. That was it. You are untouchable.
So when people say cancel culture doesn't exist, you lived through it. And you lived through it because of me. And I thought what happened to me was bad enough. What happened to you, to me, was utterly shameful. But cancel culture is real, isn't it? You become this person that no one will want to employ because suddenly you're that person.
Oh, absolutely. You are untouchable. You are an untouchable. And what makes me so mad is I'm in a blessed situation that no matter whatever happens to my career, my husband will always take care of me. But what happens to a person that, you know, say I didn't have a husband and I had kids to bring up, right? What happens to people like that are cancelled or fired because they've used the wrong term or something's taken out of context and they're fired?
Boy.
To the average person, what happens to that person?
Have you ever spoken again to Cheryl Underwood, who was your co-presenter on?
I sent her 3 texts of apologies and she never got back. And then she went on to national TV and said that I hadn't apologized.
Well, duh.
So what I did was I actually, on my social media, printed the text. And then she said, well, that's not an apology because it wasn't, I wanted a phone call and
sorry,
she never called me.
And let me just hold one moment. What are you apologising for? I thought you had nothing to apologise for. What I'm also interested in is what happened to you later, because your life, I mean, it didn't completely fall apart because you had your family, but it was incredibly tough for you.
Yeah, right. It was tough for me and it did affect me mentally. It honestly did, because after everything that I'd felt, all my dreams I had achieved, everything that I'd wanted to do I had achieved. And did I want my legacy for my family to be, oh, well, your Nana was on television, but everybody said she was racist, so she never went on television again. And that kind of ate me up.
What did that do to you?
It ate me up. I must have cried for 3 months.
Damn!
Really?
Never stopped crying. And my friend, Sarah Gilbert, who used to, you know Sarah.
Yeah, no, from the talk.
Right. She was the one that came up with the idea for the show and was on it.
Okay.
And she said, you need help. You've got to go somewhere. And she recommended somewhere. And then I was doing therapy and ketamine treatment.
Did you get suicidal at any stage?
Not suicidal, because I didn't want to give CBS the satisfaction. Yeah, right.
I'm so glad that we're able to sit here now talking about this. And we're going to come to why you're here and what you're going to be doing next in a moment. You're going to be doing what you do best, talking about news and current affairs and stuff in the papers and so on. I've got to ask you about the Trump interview. He's clearly hinting in my interview that he may run again. He's still popular in America.
Very popular.
And with Joe Biden being such a disaster at the moment, you could see a situation where Trump gets re-elected. Would that be a good thing, do you think, for America?
No, I don't think it would be a good thing. And the thing that frightens me is there is nobody that you could think of that would make a great president.
What do you mean by that?
So the competition is non-existent.
We're both monarchists. We love
Yes.
the royal family. How damaging is this drip, drip, drip behaviour of Meghan and Harry running a kind of rival royal family without any of the need for the duty that goes with that, but with all the money that comes their way from fleecing the royal title?
Good question.
It's just tragic that you can go and try and ruin a monarchy and, you know, what we all grew up with loving, adoring, respecting, and then every time you open your mouth, it's about your family. And the other thing I think that nobody's ever said is their children, their beautiful children, have no family.
That doesn't make sense.
They don't speak to
Never
Meghan's
seen them,
family.
yeah.
They
No.
don't speak to the royal family. These children are going to grow
Their
up.
grandfather...
No grandparents.
Their grandfather, Thomas, lives 70 miles away.
Right. Well,
It's an
there's-
hour's cab ride.
There's no grandfather, there are no aunts, there's no family. So just think of your children when you're talking about cousins and aunts
I
and
don't think they think
uncles.
about anything but themselves and the bottom line. I'm about to do something special.
Go
Sharon.
on.
I'm about to formally uncancel you. Because you're back now at Talk TV.
Thanks
the
to
same
you.
network with me. Well, I was delighted to help be part of getting you back here. How important is it to you to be back on television doing what you do best on a show called The Talk.
It's very important to me. It's something that I love. And I just, again, didn't want it to end my career in such an ugly way.
And how is Ozzy? My great man. He's just one of my favourite people in the world. Been through the health wars a bit. How's he doing?
He's doing okay. He is. He sends you his love, and he's really looking forward. He's got one more operation left to do, and then he's dying to come back home.
Well,
So that was a lie.
send him my very best, and I'm now going to have the great honour, Sharon Osbourne, of officially uncancelling you to the world and restoring you to your rightful place as the Queen of the Talk. Let it roll.
Oh, we need confetti.
And when you
All right, well, here's Samantha speaking to you about that piece of it in SOT 44.
I was made out to be, in the Netflix thing, a leader of a hate group. A hate group, by definition, incites a lot of violence globally now because of what is going on and what's being fueled by the radical left. So to put me in the crosshairs of that, I think is morally, irreprehensible. It's disgusting because it's not true and it endangers me. So when she's out there, as you mentioned before, talking about online bullying and bullying between women. Well, we've got a woman who has millions of dollars who is, in my opinion, and many others, a purveyor of bullying and of misinformation.
Certainly the misinformation, but the bullying too charge is supported, Dan. Look at the number of people who have worked for her who have left running or were reduced to tears. With the stories are legion coming out of not just when she was at the palace, but since she's moved to the American Riviera Orchard Farm Ballerina. I don't know what it is, but whatever she's doing now. Financial experts thought we were in the clear. They were anticipating around 6 rate cuts by the Fed this year, and then the inflation data came out higher than expected.
What?
This isn't going away anytime soon. How could it? The U.S. is $34 trillion in the hole. And yet we just keep on printing money, which pushes the prices you pay every day even higher. So you can either bury your head in the sand or you can do something about it.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
One option to consider is to diversify a portion of your savings into gold with Birch Gold Group. Gold can be your hedge against inflation, and Birch Gold makes it easy to own.
Okay.
They will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, and you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Text Meghan to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold. Then speak with a precious metal specialist about how you can choose to protect your savings from persistent inflation with gold.
Yeah, right.
Text Meghan, MEGYN, to 989898 now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.